Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to Apex Online Racing Season 16, brought to you by Driver61 and Patreon. This is round 7, and more importantly, it is the final round. It all comes down to this, and with absolutely nothing keeping the championship at bay, it's going to be an exciting one for sure. Quick run through for anyone that isn't aware of just how close it is. Eric Delfante currently leading the championship with 454 points. Aidan Walsingham in second with 453, so 1 point between them. However they finish on the circuit is going to depend how it comes out for them two in the championship. And then Valentine Barrier running in third place in the championship with 24 points behind. But with the two of them squabbling it out so hard this race, who knows what could happen? We may even see Giardier sneak his way up. He is 66 points behind at the moment, but it is a possibility that he may be able to do it as well. But here we go. About to start qualifying right now. This is where we are going to find out just who has got the pace. Who can transfer it from first practice over to the main race. So it looks like car number 28 is our first driver out there, and we will do our best to jump on board with them. The old cockpit cam. And car number 28 is Michael Thomas in the pinkest BMW that has ever existed. Michael Thomas, to be fair, running 5th in the championship. He technically could get himself up into first, as long as then a bunch of people in front of him don't score at all. This is going to be the big one, though. Coming up to the final round, it all comes down to this. So, this being the out lap, just getting some heat into those tyres. Just going to keep a bit of an eye on the outside of that car for a minute, and then we will jump on board. Get a good old look at what it is like to fly round this circuit here, the Red Bull Ring. Just seeing in the chat, by all means, just you can do the race. You don't have to leave the tier 2 practice and watch this. Tier 2's a good laugh. Right, here we are. We're going to jump on board now. So we are on the dash as he comes up towards the Niki Lauda curve, all the way over to the left-hand side, flings it into the right, runs on the outside. Got to be careful. That big sausage curve can be very, very easy to unsettle the car there. So now, it's not even barely any corners here. They're just absolutely flat out, but there will be opportunities for overtaking. But now, coming up one of the hardest corners on the circuit, Remus swings it in. It's just over 90 degrees. Very easy to make a mistake here. Again, big, long sausage curves on the outside. Don't want to run a tyre onto that or you will end up losing it. Downhill section now towards Schultz Gold. Again, all the way over to the left-hand side, getting the braking done on the painted stuff before flinging it back across. This corner then opens up slowly. There we go, into Roush. Again, almost like a double apex, foot to the floor, all the way to the outside before throwing it in once more to Worth. Lots of inside curb, bit of exit curb. Then having to run on the painted stuff, trying to keep the foot flat to the floor now. Running down towards Rint. Penultimate corner, moves super far over to the left, trying to get a best run as possible. Swings it in again, final turn to come. Big load of curb on the inside, but gets it together. This is going to be the benchmark. So Michael Thomas is going to be the first person across the line in the Wild Things car with a 1:27.8. An absolutely fantastic lap from him. It has to be said, that was proper on the nail. And a great first lap. Giardier, though, does now come in and sets the fastest lap. So 1:27.4 is where we are looking at the moment. Jumping on board with Aidan Walsingham, who is currently not set a lap as of yet. So he is all the way down the bottom at Remus at the moment. I'm going to stick on board just for a minute, and then we'll flick across to Delfante as well. Keep an eye on these top boys. There is a lovely little poll going on in the chat. So we've got who is going to be our champion? Is it going to be Delphante, Walsingham, or Barrier? I mean, it could be an absolute wild card out of nowhere, but they seem to be the top 3 ones to really keep an eye on at the moment. So you've got till the end of qualifying to vote in that poll. At the moment, oh, I'm about to say at the moment it was going to be Delphante, but now it is neck and neck between Aiden and Delphante. So could be anything, but yeah, do let us know either in the poll or just post it in the chat who you think is going to win this championship, season 16. This has been the closest championship we have had in a very long time. Aiden getting an absolutely fantastic tow at the moment and puts it in pole, 127.1. Great lap from him. If anything, having Yorkie in front of him and that whopping great Mustang is doing him a favour because he's able to tuck in behind it and get a really, really good pull. Got Giardier cruising along behind them as well. He is now running in 2nd place. Delphante at the moment all the way down in 5th place. Let's jump on with Delphante as he is now coming across the line to start another flying lap. In fact, let's jump on the dashboard of Delphante. Actually, I realised there it's Delphante who's the championship leader at the moment, not Aiden. That was my mistake. So used to seeing Aiden's name up there near the very tippy top. I think Aiden thought it was going to be a clean sweep for him this season, but Eric Delphante has absolutely come out the gate swinging and going for it. But yeah, 1 point between the championship leaders, and then Valentine Barrier only a few points further behind. I think it's 13 points, which is absolutely nothing. And I think Aiden Walsingham's time is going to be a hard one to beat. He got super lucky with traffic in front of him. He had Matt York, a very, very capable driver, in front of him in the Mustang. And I think sort of being almost using that to his advantage, sitting in behind in the tow of the great big muscly Mustang. Delphante is up on his lap time. It's not enough to get him onto pole though. Giardier has just been the first driver to get into the 126 with a 126.98. Delphante still improving. We'll stick with him till the end of the lap. It's quick, but it's not going to be quick enough for pole. Puts him in 3rd place. It was a mighty quick lap, but that 126.9 from Giardier that's going to be a very, very hard one to beat. I think we're going to really struggle to see people go quicker than that. So further down the order, that lovely Audi, the screaming Audi. Hopefully he's going to continue on. Yes, he is. Gets himself up into 10th place. Alexander Lubolavsky. The Armamentario software team, car number 398, currently running in 10th place. I have a feeling this is going to be a championship ender to remember. Continuing on with the lap, still up on the lap time as well. Alexander definitely has an opportunity here to make an improvement, still slowly creeping away. No one right near the very top is on an improvement at the moment. Just seeing in the chat there, someone saying that, yeah, Walsingham had a mega tow up the hill by the Mustang. Yeah, I think that's... Well, I mean, saying that, we thought it was going to be like a completely unbeatable lap, but then Giardier came out in the Aston and managed to better it, so... Not entirely sure how he managed to do that, but here we go. Let's have a quick jump on board with Alan Drake Cruz. First time winner a couple of rounds ago. Very fast young man. Car number 15, racing for BS Competition. And that absolutely lovely BMW. So having a little bit of a look round to see who's on big improvements. Who have we got? No one up the top is really doing too much improvement-wise, apart from, here we go, Kevin Niles in the 444 Mustang. Now comes absolutely thundering his way down the circuit through Roush. And this long sort of, it's almost double apex, but there is that little straight in between. You do have to open the steering up at some point in that middle section. The Mustangs are looking pretty fast here this evening. Got Walter Billen up in 7th place at the moment in one of the Mustangs. Kevin Niles looking strong as well, obviously in 10th. Then Matt York down in 12th. It's still a fairly new car to Assetto Corsa Competizione, and it's very nice to see that they are so strong. And Kevin Niles up to 9th place. Not the improvement I imagine he was looking for. He did end up losing a little bit of time just towards the end of that lap. And has now jumped into the pits. Who have we got here? Nashkadashvili. Have not put them on screen in a little while. Racing for Sky Sim Sport. Noticed I appear to be missing a few liveries. Not entirely sure why. Unless people have changed them for whatever reason and they haven't told me and sent me the new ones. I know there's a few of them missing, but Nashkadashvili up in 5th place. Really good laps from him, to be fair. 1:27.3 is a very, very strong time. Aidan Walsingham absolutely nibbling at the heels of Jardier. And then Delfante doing the same, and Valentine Barrier. So what is our top 4 in the championship? They might not be in the right order at the moment on the grid, but they are so close together. In fact, let's have a quick jump on with Jacob Blizzard, who was up on his lap time, but I think he has lost a lot through turn 1. Someone who is definitely up on the lap time is Matt York. We jump on with him as he comes through Roush. In fact, let's jump on to the dashboard. Throws it into Worth. See how early he gets on the throttle there, able to absolutely monster over those exit curves. 4th gear at the moment. Absolutely hammering it, then hard on the brakes, down into 3rd. Keeps it in 3rd, uses that low end grunt, doesn't need to go down another. Down into 2nd gear for the final turn, and back on the throttle. Bit of a snap of oversteer, just about holding together, but I think he lost a lot of time there, just in that little bit of a moment he had, and yet he has abandoned that lap. So, did not go the way he wanted it to, but someone is on improvements. Nottins, car number 77, Digital Racing Systems, or DRS for short. That lovely looking McLaren currently just up on its lap time. Up at the front, no one being able to improve any further at the moment. Stick with Nottins for a minute, and in fact let's jump back on the dashboard. That is the loudest car that has ever existed. A very, very loud McLaren. You can see the way he's sawing at the steering wheel, trying to keep it together. Throws it again, now into Worth. Gets on the throttle, not quite as early as we saw in the Mustang, but able to run the curves nicely. Looked very settled there. It's very rare you can say that the McLaren looks settled, but it did look fairly well put together. Oh, it maybe over-rotated a little bit on entrance there. I think he used the curves to try and get the car to turn in. And managed to seem to hold it together, and he's still up on his lap time, so he's currently running in 14th place, but this will be an improvement. And it is big improvement, up into 11th place. He'll be pretty pleased with that one. So, no improvements inside the top 10 at the moment. We're going to jump back on with car number 28 that is running in 13th place of Michael Thomas, Wild Things Racing. So for the moment, the top end of this grid is pretty stable and not really changing from what we saw earlier on. We'll have to wait and see what can happen as this race continues. think it's going to be a bit of a tight one. I can't see there being an obvious standout driver here this evening, especially with the times that have been so incredibly close. About a minute left of qualifying. Michael Thomas goes up to 10th place, so he'll be pretty pleased with that. 1 minute left. Who is out on a run still? Jack Humble is still out and lapping. So, fingers crossed, continuing to push nice and hard. And does now come in. So, who is out there on improvements? Novikov. Big improvements coming from Novikov. 0.3 up on his lap. He'll be very happy with that one at the moment. Running in 18th place, but with a 0.3 improvement, that should see him absolutely fly up through the order. And it does, up into 9th place. That is the kind of thing that he would have wanted to see here this evening. Big, big jump up the order. Junior as well. This driver on an improvement. This is basically anyone who is out there. This is their final chance to try and set the lap time they really, really want. Seeing now, Ada Walsingham is on an improvement, so I feel like we have to keep a bit of an eye on this. Where was... So Aiden was just nipping at the heels of Jardier. So this might be a pole position for Aiden. We'll jump again onto the dashboard. Ear warning. I give you a headphone warning in advance because it is monstrously loud, this thing. But we just have to stay on board. Only a few corners left to go. Can he do it? There was a tiniest improvement appearing on our screen. Oh, and a big throw through that turn. Has he managed to hold it together? It looks like he actually lost time. So I don't think it's going to be an improvement as he comes across the line. No, it is not. He stays second. I doubt he'll be disappointed with that because second place is really good. And it is his teammate, Giardier, who is currently holding on to first position. Just noticed that Buzov all the way down in 28th place. That is a surprise. Did not expect to see Buzov that far down the order. But there we go. That is the end of the qualifying. And I have ended the lovely, lovely poll that we had going. So it is a draw between Eric Delfante and Aidan Walsingham. 47% of you think it's Delfante going to win the championship, and 47% of you think it's Walsingham, and 4% think Valentine Barrier. But I think you never know with Barrier. He's a very quick driver. He may have qualified in 7th, but he is no slouch when it comes to racing. He can really, really pull it out of the bag in ways that I'm amazed anyone possibly can. Right, so let's have a quick run through the grid order. Ooh, if for any reason I can actually manage to get the cameras to work. There we go. Right. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's that one there. There we go. Right. So, pole position is Jardier. Second place is Aidan Walsingham. Eric Delfante in 3rd. Nash Gadashvili in 4th place. Novikov in 5th. Alan Drake Cruz, 6th place. Really good qualifying for that young man. Valentine Barrier in 7th. Jack Humble, 8th. Walter Billin, 9th. Joe McLaren in the wrong car, Scuderia, Ferrari. Michael Thomas, 11th place. Kevin Niles in 12th. Znotins, 13th place. Hanowitz, 14th place. Kumpu in 15th place. IPEC in 16th place. Jacob Blizzard in 17th. Matt York in 18th place. Lubaloskowski in 19th place, Kubaki in 20th, Junior in 21st, Vajanovic in 22nd, Clifford in 23rd, Chris Vining in 24th, Benjamin King 25th, Gardonetto, and I do apologise, could not get the word out at all then, down in 26th place, Gaston Delurbre in 27th, and rounding out the grid is Nikola Buzov in 28th. I'm just having a quick look. Was there any reason why certain people weren't there? I saw... let's try and see. Oh, I do love it when it won't give me the information that I want. Never mind. I was going to see if we could see if they had not qualified or not. But that is the way it is. For some reason, I can't. It's just showing me minimized names and I can't see. I'm just seeing in the chat, funny thing I noticed is that late joiners are very quick drivers. Yes. Well, there may have been qualifying ban. There was 2. I know Bosk was one of them that was banned from qualifying this evening. And I can't, for whatever reason, see the other driver. It just refusing to expand and show me the name of that driver for some reason. But yeah, that is how the grid looks at the moment. So, right at the tippy top of the grid, our 3 championship main rivals are absolutely neck and neck. So at the moment, Delphante with 454 points is leading Aidan Walsingham with 453, and then Valentine Barrier with 430. Now, Jardier does have 388. He's 66 points behind Delphante. So if, and it's a big if Delphante and Walsingham have really bad ones, and so does Valentine, there is a possibility that he could come through and take the lead. But it's going to have to be a serious what-if moment. So first place gives you 100 points. Second place, 88 points. Third, 79. Fourth, 72. Fifth is 65. Fifth is 65. Sixth is 59. Seventh, 53. Eighth is 48 points. Ninth, 43. And 10th, 39. So really, it has to be an absolutely ginormous upset for anyone to take it away from the top 3 drivers in the championship. But it's Apex Online Racing. Stranger things have happened, and sadly, stranger things will happen as well. But this is it. We're about to begin the outlap, the formation lap. The drivers will go round just the once, do everything they possibly can to try and get some temperature into those tyres. And Jardier took a long time to move then. He is now moving, but it did take a long time. I think whether maybe he got caught talking with his chat or something, not entirely sure, but it took him a very, very long time to get that car up and rolling. I say everyone will be driving along, probably keeping a little bit of keeping the brakes on, trying to generate some heat into the brakes, let it soak through the wheels into the tyres. Turn 1 is going to be very exciting here, I think, and turn 2 as well. So, fingers crossed, everyone can keep it clean. So we've got live stewarding here this evening. So if you do make a mistake, you will be punished before the race is over. Veloce, it has to be said, have absolutely been dominating the team's championship. Absolutely huge gap. They're leading the championship with 841 points for Veloce Vexed, and that is a gap of 428 points back to winning Rush GP. So no prizes for guessing who's going to win the team's championship, but it's the big one. It's the final round, and I hate to say it, but sometimes team orders do get thrown out the window. And with Jardier doing such a strong effort in qualifying, he will want to finish this race in first place. And as long as Aidan finishes in front of Delphante, he will take the championship, and vice versa. Only one position between them, and that's it. They just have to change places. But at the moment, Aidan would be our championship winner if he can hold on to this position. But we are most certainly not going to discount Delphante. Incredibly quick driver. He has had a monstrous season. 3 pole positions, 4 podium finishes. It's been very, very strong. So, penultimate turn now. This is the final moment. Cars starting to stack up again. Jardier there, leading the field in. We'll go with the helicam at first to try and keep as much on the screen as possible. just due to the madness of lap 1. We're probably not going to go for replays unless there's an absolutely ginormous pile-up or something, but probably won't go for replays all the way through lap 1, just because otherwise you find yourself in a constant thing of chasing replays. But for now, it's the final run to the line, round 7, the final round of season 16 for Apex Online Racing, brought to you by Driver61 and Patreon. And we're now waiting on the green light. Is it coming? Is it coming? There goes the lights go green. Great stuff. Aiden already off the line a little bit and going forward. To be fair, so is Delphante. Got a decent run. And immediately Aiden tries to go up into pole position. Rubs a little bit, gets unsettled. A little bit of a nudge there. As I said, I think team orders are just out the window today. These two absolutely going for it. Shoulder to shoulder. Jardier does appear to have the run. Oh, kind of a 183 has gone off. But immediately these two seem to be squabbling, and oh, huge smash. What on earth happened then? That was an absolutely massive incident. That does require going back for, because that was absolutely insane. What happened here? So this is back at turn 1, and we saw Alan Drake Cruz get absolutely fired into oblivion. I have no idea where that came from, but so obviously we have to go back and just see what happened there, because he's in pretty clean air. There's no one there, and then oh, kind of a 72 just sort of appeared inside him. Or was that Nashkadashvili? One of the cars just kind of appeared inside him. That was very strange. And Aidan Walsingham's now gone. Where is Aidan Walsingham gone? What has happened to Aidan? We need to go back again to see this. What's happened here? Aidan goes off. So Aidan off. This is his championship slipping away from between his fingers. But there was definitely something very strange there happen with Nashkadashvili. His car just appearing pretty much out of nowhere and causing all kinds of issues. Pushing very hard and getting himself up to second place. But I wonder if maybe there is a little bit of some sort of internet issues and drivers are a bit scared of getting involved with it. But at the moment, Delphante is going to be our championship winner. But that was a very, very strange one. I certainly hope that the replays have been saved. Right, the battle is now starting to heat up a little bit. Delphante looking to try and find a way round Nashkadashvili. We've got lots of black cars this evening. Bit of a shame. So Aidan Walsingham, this is going to be a big one to keep an eye on. At the moment, running down in 6th place. He needs to get in front of Delphante. Doesn't matter what position Delphante is in. As long as Delphante finishes in front of Walsingham, Delphante will take the championship. That probably is not the start to the race that Aidan would have wanted. A really strong qualifying effort from him, put himself in 2nd place. And now he is watching his main championship rival eat away in front of him, and that is exactly what he did not want to happen. Absolutely fantastic shots here at the Red Bull Ring. Some lovely shots further back in the 3rd. We're going to go back a little bit more. You see Michael Thomas all over the back of Snottins, chasing after Joe McLaren. Oh, kind of a 2-1-2. We've got yellow flags out. That's Junior. And there's cars going absolutely everywhere. What has happened here? So this is further back in the lap, side by side with the GTR. So this, I think, is coming down towards the penultimate turn. Cars going left and right all over the place. Big move up the inside there for one of the Ferraris. And it gets rotated and round it goes, and a few cars involved. Everyone holding the brakes, doing the right thing. And a rejoining Ferrari as well. That was very, very close to being a much larger incident than it was. But there's a very, very battered looking, I think that's Walter Billin, front of that Ford Mustang, looking absolutely destroyed at this moment. Let's see what it's like. Yeah, and you can see the bonnet starting to flap up and down a little bit. So that is looking like a very, very poorly car now. Right, back up near the front. Barrier versus Delphante. This is heating up. Walsingham was already caught up to the back of them as well. All the while, Jardier set the fastest lap of the race at the moment and is continuing to pull away. It'll be interesting to see who can maintain this kind of pace. Little squabbles going on all around the circuit. A feel like we need to keep a little bit of an eye on this. This is the main championship battle going on. Obviously, you've got Eric Delfante. Oh, and then Valentine Barrier went very, very wide. You have to be careful with track limits here. Aidan Walsingham still hunting onto the back, seeing what he can do. Oh, we've got moves going on. Kumpo, and that is versus Kevin Niles. Kevin Niles does get the move done and goes right round the outside and just about manages to get it sorted. That was a big old move to get that car. That's a massive old bit of Mustang, that is. Down towards Schlossgold. And Kevin Niles just about snuck on through. And then there's possible moves in the background. No, nothing coming to light there. That was Hanowitz versus Blizzard, I believe. This one getting close. And all the while, Matt York sits there waiting for a mistake from these two, trying to work out if he can make a way through. Jumping back on board with this top battle. You can see in the back of the shot, Aidan Walsingham now starting to look very, very racy. Jardier's made a real effort to pull away from everyone at this point. There's definitely a case that he is just starting to open up this gap, building a little bit of a buffer. Nashkadashvili looks like maybe he's going to start to become a bit of a cork in the bottle, but I think the big one is Aidan Walsingham versus Barrier. Aidan's looking to the outside at turn one. He's going to have to be very brave. He might be able to brake later and take the longer way round. Oh, and he gets a little touch. He turned in, just misjudged it and turned in to the back, and he's now lost a position. Through goes Jack Humble. So Aidan Walsingham now falls down. Does fall down one lap. Sorry, one position. Does end up losing one. Right, jumping back. Let's see what's going on. Hanowitz side by side with Jacob Blizzard now. Throws it in, and there we go. We can see that he should have the undercut. He should be able to sweep through. He'll be on the inside, but he's then going to be on the outside. Oh, and they get together. Big bump there. Certainly a little bit more than elbows out. That was almost elbows, shoulders, knees and toes, I think, involved in that one. But through goes Hanowitz. He gets in front of Blizzard. But it was a big old bump between them as they went through. Right, Aidan Walsingham has now set the fastest lap of the race, down in 6th place though, and at the moment he is losing the championship. It is getting away from him. He's got some big names sneaking up behind. I say, still got 52 minutes of the race left to go, so anything can happen, and so far this race it already pretty much has. It's been what can only be described as a bit of a frantic kind of beginning of the race. Oh, moves going on up in front as well. This is Delfante versus, that is, hang on, Laps having a little bit of a wobble here. Delfante versus Barrier, so this one's still going on at the moment. Jardier, that gap has increased, but he's not getting away miles. Nashkadashvili doing a very good job of holding back Delfante and Barrier. While those two squabble, they're not going to be able to get on past. Moves going on just behind as well. Was Novikov, and that is involved with Joe McLaren. And then Znotins as well. And Znotins gets through just as it chops the nose off the front of the Aston. I think that probably took the lacquer off the outside of the paint. That was super close as he came across the nose. They're still squabbling it out. Novikov tries to go to the outside, going to try and get a bit of a switchback. Might be able to dive down the inside for the final turn. No, he can't. Has to abandon it. Michael Thomas looking to take advantage of it. He is right behind them. He's going to have a much, much stronger line here. Back on board with this little front battle that's going on. We've got these two. We've got Delfante versus Barrier, and then we've got Jack Humble versus Walsingham. And in fact, I think we're going to see a bit of a double move here. There is a move to the inside. Barrier trying to go through. They're now going to be side by side. Aidan Walsingham does get the move done and just about manages to get through. Del Fante managing to retain his position, but he's having to go defensive. He's to the inside. Not quite able to do it, but still pushing forward. Aidan Walsingham seems to have settled his head a little bit and now starting to try and push forward. Right, now a little one going on. Car number 369, Novikov, is in a sandwich. We've got Snottins in front, and now he's got Michael Thomas behind. He's going to be looking to get past Snottins. They did squabble it out once before, but now the Aston goes to the outside. It's the optimum line, but it's the longer way around. He's unable to defend the inside. Gets the switchback. It's a good run. He should now be down the inside for the final corner. He is. Oh, they do get together pretty hard, though. Snottins definitely the one that sort of loses out more. There, goes out wide, loses the position, and loses it to Michael Thomas as well. So Michael Thomas now has gained one position. And just about gets the door slammed just before turn one, and now he can sort of put his nose down and see what he can do in that Wild Things Racing BMW. Nice little one going on just behind as well. This one, so we've got Kevin Nars versus Kumpo versus Hanowitz. Nearly 3 wide, and there is room given. Niles gave room at the apex. They still rub together a fair bit. We've got Jacob Blizzard as well, trying to take advantage of all the squabbling going on. Just looks like that Mustang in a straight line is just dominant. There's a lot of rubbing going on here this evening. Again, this is a kind of circuit where it's one of the newer circuits to Assetto Corsa Competizione. So it's not the kind of circuit where everyone's going to have a billion hours of lap times, but still these drivers should have practiced and should know it pretty well. See as they're going absolutely flying out of worth. It's now looking like these guys have just started to settle ever so slightly. Nashkadashvili suddenly finds himself further back in the list. So he has dropped back 2 positions and now finds Aidan Walsingham right up the back of him. Aidan Walsingham absolutely fired up and is going at it absolutely hammer and tongs. He is desperate to get back through. Running around the outside. Can he do it? No, he can't. Going to try and get the switchback. It's a good run. He's going to be right in the toe. You'd be able to fly down the hill towards Schultzgold. Is he going to be close enough to get a proper toe down the hill? I'm not entirely sure. So Del Fante, 2nd place at the moment. Valentine Barrier, Nashkadashvili, then Aidan Walsingham. And leading everyone out in front is Jardier, having an absolutely fantastic race. Aidan Walsingham doing absolutely everything he can to try and gain that position. We can look over that rear wing. There it is. That's the rear wing shot. And you can see Aidan Walsingham gets a little bit of a better run. He's going to be on the outside, though, for the penultimate turn of Rint. Or is he going to look to the inside? He does look to the inside. Can he get it done under braking here? Looks to do it, but no, he can't. Has to back out. Nashkadashvili, though, very, very slow between the 2 turns. Again, just about manages to slam the door and gets it done. But up into turn 1, I think he's going to struggle here at the Niki Lauda curve. He is going to struggle a lot to hold back Aidan Walsingham. Though Aidan just didn't seem to quite be able to tuck up behind. Whether that's a setup issue, possibly running slightly more downforce than Nashkadashvili, because Nashkadashvili does seem to have the ability to pull away a little bit on these straights. Michael Thomas still squabbling it out, having a good one. Matt York as well, a little bit further back. We just saw there, having a nice little side-to-side. And that's with Blizzard. This is 4th position. Can he go through? Absolutely fantastic to see Kabaki in again this evening as well. Looking very strong in the Nissan GTR, running in 16th place. Ooh, Jonathan Clifford nearly getting into the back of him there, in the back of the shot. And there's a mistake from Blizzard. Goes a little bit wide, puts the tyres onto the gravel. Oh! And then a huge hit. Absolutely massive collision there. We're going to have to go back 30 seconds to watch that one. So they're side by side here. Much better run by Blizzard out of the turn. And I think there's quite a lot of net coding going on here. And I think Matt York is possibly struggling with some netcode issues, because that car does seem to be swinging back and forth between them, and say he's miles away and then just, yeah, not entirely sure what happened there, but then gets hit again and round he goes. So not the season ender he probably would have wanted. That was a little bit of an odd one, that one, it has to be said. I think there was netcode issues going on. Right, back into the battle now. This is 11th place. Everybody's position's changing so much all the time. It's still saying Kevin Niles is behind all these drivers, but he's definitely not. He is in front. Yes, so this is the battle for 11th place. Kevin Niles versus Kumpo versus Hanowitz. It is now mostly Kumpo and Hanowitz side by side, the pair of Ferraris. The two of them dragging these cars, kicking and screaming down the back straight. Jardier again has now set the fastest lap of the race. Still side by side. These two have been absolutely at each other for lap after lap. Kumpo still just about holding on to 12th position at the moment. But it really could be anyone's race. Aidan Walsingham has managed to get himself up into 4th place in amongst all of this. He's managed to get himself past Nashkadashvili. And now he really needs to try and get his toe down. He's still got Valentine Barrier and Delfante to get past if he is going to win this championship. At the moment, he is finishing 2nd in the championship. And I imagine he will be absolutely desperate to try and get there. So Aidan Walsingham is now just about starting to stretch away. Oh, the Nashkadashvili gets right up onto the back of his heels. Goodness gracious, anyone would think they were doing some sort of relay race by the way he got so close trying to pass the baton, but not quite able to. And now we go, here's moves going on just behind. Humble versus McLaren. Just saw a little look up the inside there from McLaren. He had a little look, not quite able to. Jack Humble does just about hold on to his position for now. But now we're starting to see the intent of McLaren. He's now knows he's got the pace. He knows he can get the nose up the inside, and he'll be desperate to do it. Bit of a jump further back down. Vujanovic versus Vining. The Hexagon Nation. Absolutely fantastic looking Porsche there. That green and black attired car. Versus the all-white BMW of Vining. Looked like a fairly decent exit there for Vining. This is where the BMW should be able to hold on to the back, if not get round. He was in the toe, and now he looks to the outside. No, he doesn't. Switches to the inside for the corner coming up. Can he get it done under braking? He is there up the inside. Room is given by Dusan. Fair play to him. They give each other room. Dusan is going to have the better exit, though. Didn't have to go quite as tight. But now in this second little straight section, I think it's going to go the way of the BMW. It's going to be on the inside again now. Chris Vining should be able to get this done, unless there can be some absolutely epic braking from Vujanovic, which he might be able to do. He goes a little bit wide. They're still side by side. Best part of half a lap at this point has all been side by side. And again, Chris Vining just trying to get it done, but he can't quite. He goes out to the outside. He should have a better run. Can he get it done here? No, he can't. Still side by side. And in the end, I think actually Vujanovic, I don't want to say backed out, but I think he thought better of it and knew that was going to end badly for the pair of them if they just kept squabbling as hard as they were. And ended up going into it. Right, so a little bit of an update on that lap 1 incident that we saw, where I think it was car number 728 of Nashkadashvili, car number 15, and car number 72. That was when we had that very odd moment down at turn 2 where Nashkadashvili 728 disappeared and then reappeared. The stewards have looked into it and they can't see that there was anything to consider of a connection issue leading up to it. So, you know, all the data there running, it appeared that the connection was healthy. So they have decided that there's no further action. No one is at fault for that. So, but they will be now keeping a very close eye on Nashkadashvili's connection. Any kind of wobbles in connection, or if that car suddenly if it does disappear again for any reason, then obviously they would probably end up removing him from the lobby in its entirety for the sake of everybody else. Essentially a mechanical black flag. Oh, and we've got our first driver coming into the pits, I think now. I think that's Joe McLaren in the car number 2, who's just come flying in. We will know for certain in a moment when it comes up with it. Oh, and Michael Thomas as well. Both those drivers coming into the pits very early on. Still 40 minutes of the race left to go. So the timing board having a little bit of a wobble as people start to come into the pits. But Hanowitz now versus Kevin Niles. And they've got Kumpo as well, trying to catch back up with him. He's lost pace with them just that little bit. But we've lost a few cars over the space of this evening, it would seem. We've lost Blizzard, Walter Billen, and Alan Drake Cruz. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, Alan Drake Cruz's car, I think, sadly took quite a beating during that obscure moment in lap 1. So, unsurprising that things have changed there. He's decided to call it a day. Gaston Deleubre having a nice little squabble down in 17th place. He's got IPEC coming up behind him in that 224. Obviously, we saw that Ferrari earlier on. It was involved in an incident. But for all the things that have been going on... Oh, here we go. Right. So, lap 2 involving car number 95, car number 115, 212, 224, and the 992. 30-second penalty for car number 224 and 2 licence points. Oh, and we literally had them on the screen just a moment ago. That was IPEC. Levent IPEC causes an avoidable collision. And so that is a 30-second penalty coming that driver's way. Just they're coming into the pits as well, so they may be able to serve it. If not, they will have to carry the 30 seconds to the end of the race. Adam Walsingham's now set the fastest lap of the race. What have we got here? 1:28.075. That's because we haven't really had them on the screen at all. Let's have a quick look at Jardier, all the way up in pole position, running now. Sort of continuously running in the low 128s. Very, very consistent. The Loche car looking very, very stable. Seen quite a few seasons that Jardier has stuck with the Aston, obviously still feeling like it is the car that best suits his driving style. So going back a little bit, there's Nashkadashvili, and we've then got Novikov flying up behind them. Not a great deal of distance between them. But even closer is Kevin Niles versus Hanowitz. And Kumpo as well is almost certainly going to be hoping there might be a little bit of an incident between these two. Maybe a bit of rubbing, a bit of squabbling. Jonathan Clifford now coming into the pits as well. But for the moment, Kevin Niles in the 444 Mustang looking pretty strong, but he's punching a huge hole through the air. Ooh, looks to the inside, and it's done. Through goes Hanowitz. He's going to have a decent run. He's going to have to try and out-drag the Mustang, though, which seems like an almost impossible task. Getting very, very close together, these two. And the Mustang, you can see it just has the legs, but it is still going to be on the outside. Is it going to be far enough ahead? No, it's not. Squeezes to the inside. But Hanowitz does hold on to the position. And now he's going to try and get away. This is the twisty bits. This is where he has the advantage over the Mustang. Does just drift out wide of the apex there. Looks like Kevin Niles possibly had a better line. Kumpo as well. Looks like towards this latter half of the race is maybe that car starting to come to life. The fuel burn certainly starting to take an advantage. Joe McLaren's just set the fastest lap of the race. What did Joe McLaren? What did his lap time? What was that suddenly? With a 1:28.01. So not a great deal in it, but he is now the fastest driver out there, Joe McLaren. Obviously, he's come out. He's got fresh tyres on that car. Jardier's gap at the front appeared to drop right down then, but I think that was just the timing board bug that we do sometimes get. Quite often the case, especially because I think there is a back market in amongst them. There is that Porsche running along at the moment. Nashkadashvili very much under attack now from Novikov. There we saw them, the Aston Martin in the hands of Jardier looking very strong. And I think now Novikov is doing a very similar thing and is being able to apply the pressure more and more. But let's jump on the dashboard of that car. So we now see him chasing up the back of Nashvili and then Humble just a little bit further up the road ahead as well. That was a big move to the inside there, and I don't... Oh, there we go. Coming into the pits. That would explain the being completely offline for just a brief moment there. A little bit of confusion for me, I won't lie. Right, back to another little squabble going on. Dusan Vujanovic. Ah, there we go. You can see why they're coming into the pits. Oh, and Vujanovic did come into the pits, but he was way outside of the pit entry line, so that might be looked into. If not during the race, certainly post-race. That will almost certainly be looked upon, I would imagine. The driver's briefing definitely would have come in and told them that they have to abide by the pit lane rules. So Humble has finally got past Nashkadashvili. Let's see what he can do now that he is released. Can he pull up towards the front of the pack? Delfante has brought that gap down to pole to just under a second now. Imagine Jards will do absolutely everything to try and hold back Delfante. Oh, and here we go. More cars coming into the pits. Nashkadashvili and Humble both coming into the pits now. So, Jardier sticking it out for now. Just coming up towards the halfway point in the race. Aidan Walsingham looked like they were having a big battle. Just seeing in the chat there, did the 224 get a penalty for lap 2? Yes, they did. There was 2 licence points and 30-second penalty. Another incident coming in now. So this is lap 8, car number 72 versus car number 728. 5-second penalty for car number 72. That is Valentine Barrier. 5-second penalty for Barrier. So odds of climbing up through the championship definitely being squeezed away from Barrier now. And in comes Aiden. Aiden is into the pits. And we have another incident coming in. I think this is the one we saw earlier on, but it was that Matt York incident. So cars involved car number 65, that which is Matt York versus 97 and the 966 on lap 10. 20-second penalty and 2 license points for car number 65. Matt York is responsible for causing a moderate collision, which is that incident we did look back on. And like I said, I did think there was quite a bit of sort of rubber banding going on there, maybe a bit of netcode issues. But again, no one else's fault other than the car that caused the issue. And so obviously it's been looked back through. And the stewards have decided that the penalty goes the way of Matt York. Right, squabbles still going on. Humble versus Nashgadashvili. They've done their pits and they're now out again and flying. We've got Michael Thomas just in front of them. Phil McLaren still with that fastest lap of the race. That must have been an absolute belter of a lap, because that must have pretty much been the second lap after the after his out lap. So obviously pulled the pace out of somewhere, and I'm not entirely sure where that pace came from, but that is absolutely huge amounts of speed. We've got cars exiting the pits in front now. That is number 72, so that is Barrier, who has served his 5-second penalty and now finds himself a little bit further down the grid, just in front of Humble and Nashgadashvili. Those two drivers have got the tyres up to temperature. They will be looking to push hard and trying to gain a position. Delfante in, Znottin's in, and Kevin Niles all into the pits. The real one is going to be to see sort of whereabouts Aiden comes out in comparison to others around him. Oh, and Matt York picks up drive-through penalty. That will be... Well, there must be, if it's a drive-through, that must be for track limits infringements. So that is in-game created. That is not from our stewards. That is the in-game penalty system working. Oh, and pretty much just cruised around the outside then. Nashgadashvili pulled up in front of Humble. Just cruised on through. That position was definitely given away. So, not entirely sure what happened there. There was no real reason that we could see on screen to suggest why that was the case, but Nashgadashvili gains the position, goes on through. And I think, though, Humble seems to be struggling a little bit, because he's now got Novikov right on the back of him, nipping at his heels like a Jack Russell at the postman. Oh, what a big move to the outside. Can he do it? He's going to be... Did get his nose in front, but just couldn't quite get the car turned in. So then lost a lot of speed mid-turn. Jardier now into the pits as well. So where is Delfante in relation now to Aidan Walsingham? Not that big of a gap at all. About 2 seconds between them, and still with 27 minutes of the race left to go. Let's just say anything could happen, and it's certainly looking like Aidan is going to try and get this championship win. But Joe McLaren looking very, very fast. We saw him do an earlier pit stop. He then came out and absolutely blisteredly won that fastest lap. And he is chasing after the back of Aidan Walsingham. And so I don't think it's necessarily going to be an overall easy race. Jardier, is he still in the pits? He is still in the pits. He's going to be exiting the pits, but he's really not going to be that far ahead of Delfante. There is a possibility here that we might see a change for position unless he can really get the toe down and get it going. They're going to be right up on him, and suddenly Delfante finds himself battling it out for first place. He is right up the back of Jardier. No way Jardier is going to be able to brake as late as Delfante, and Delfante now looks to the outside. He's going to be on the outside, but he should be able to brake a lot later than Jardier because the tyres will be up to temperature. Jards does just about hold on to it, but doesn't get the run out of the corner. Oh, little moment there for Delfante. I'm really hoping that's possibly just on my end and not someone else's, but Delfante now just about manages to squeeze away into first position, and he now has a car buffer, but Jardier looks back to the inside. Delfante does give him a little bit of room. And through Delfante goes, and that's looking fairly convincing that he's managed to open it up Unless Jards can get those tyres switched on quickly, he is going to lose touch with Delphante. And 47% of people at home are possibly cheering now, because 47 of you thought he was going to be our leader, and Delphante is now pulling away. Best thing Jardier can do is try and apply pressure, let Aiden try and catch up as well, and then possibly assist in a bit of a double move overtake, possibly get Aiden up and close. But at the moment, Delphante doing an absolutely fantastic job of pulling away. After this pit stop, the fresh tyres really do seem to be affecting Jardier's performance at the moment. He is massively down. So from being the driver that pretty much immediately came out the gate and was just swinging and going for it, now he finds himself struggling to hold on to second place. A little bit further back, nice little train of cars coming here. We've got Thomas, Barrier, Nashkadashvili, Humble and Novikov, all in this big, long train of cars. Towards the back, they're nearly 3 wide. Barrier tries to go around the outside of Michael Thomas, and he does get it done. Barrier, another very, very quick and accomplished driver. So Barrier finds himself now up into 5th place. Everybody trying to use the toe to gain advantage. Michael Thomas goes defensive against Nashkadashvili. Nashkadashvili going way, way out wide. Just about keeps it out of the gravel. Novikov not quite able to take advantage and go through. But also then we've got Humble as well. Sorry, it's not in. Sorry, that's not in on the back of this pack. Looking very, very racy. No, it's not. That is Jack Humble. It is Jack Humble. There we go. Timing board being a bit daft, whatever on my end. But Jack Humble looking very, very fast, and he's in quite a decent position here. Yes, he might have a lot of cars in front of him, but they are all absolutely squabbling it out. Any mistake from one of these drivers, and he could possibly end up gobbling up more than just one position. He's pushing hard. We've also got Novikov in front now. Going to try and go around the outside at turn 1 against Nashkadashvili. Possibly not going to happen. No, it's not. They both run way out onto the sausage curbs, trying to keep the power down, though. Again, this is where the Aston should have the advantage. Going to be on the outside here. Oh, big old bump. Again, I think that was just a bit of a racing incident from what we could see here in the booth, but that is absolutely not what Novikov would have wanted. He's now way behind that pack that he'd stuck with for so long. He'd done a really good job of holding on to it, and now finds himself dropped back. Right, the front battle is still very much on. Delphante versus Giardier versus Walsingham. Walsingham needs to gain 2 positions if he wants to win the championship. Delphante can afford to lose 1, but he has to finish in front of Walsingham. Doesn't matter how far back down the grid the pair of them end up being, but whoever finishes in front of the other will come away the champion this evening, unless it's massively far down. Because, I mean, Jardier is in the right position. If for any reason Delphante and Walsingham either A, had mechanical issues or completely disconnected, or had a big crash. Oh, kind of a 15 with a yellow flag. And that car is now left, so not sure what happened there, but that was kind of a 15. Who was kind of a 15? Oh, that was Alan Drake Cruz we saw just reappear for a little moment. I thought he had left quite a while ago. I think there are some slightly odd things going on with the old Assetto Corsa servers this evening. I can only imagine, in terms of championship, that Jardier will let Aiden through to try and take the battle to Delphante. Obviously, they all want individual points. They all want to, finish as high up as possible. But I can only imagine, when you're thinking of the team, that he will let Walsingham through. Walsingham is at the fastest lap of the race now. Aiden Walsingham with a 1... was that a 1 minute 27.392. So the fuel level being a bit lower, the cars being a little bit lighter on those fresh tyres in this second stint, definitely starting to make a difference. Jumping back down again. Oh, Novikov versus Nottins. And Nottins ends up going way wide. We're going to go back 10 seconds to see what happened there. You know, Nottins just outbraked himself. So yeah, Nottins just outbraked himself and now finds himself a little bit further back. Did manage to avoid the incident. You could see him hard on the brakes and then actually does pull away from the apex to try and avoid the incident. What's happened here? Oh, we've had a bit of a wobble at the front. We're going back. We're going back for this one. So this is Jards down the inside. He's up next to Delphante, and he's going to be giving it absolutely everything into the braking zone. And Delphante does drop back in behind. He knows that the more he squabbles, but Aidan Walsingham also gets the opportunity to come up beside him. I have a horrible feeling we're going to jump back from 30 seconds and have to go almost to another 30-second one. They're still side by side in this clip. Aidan still just about stuck behind. And yes, that is the continuation of the story that we have. Delphante is still leading Walsingham. 19 minutes of the race left to go. But Aidan obviously showing that he's got buckets of pace and wants to try and get through. And Delphante now found himself in quite a dangerous position where... Oh, then again, we just saw Jardier's car having a little bit of a worry. It certainly has been an interesting race this evening so far. Lots and lots of slight obscurities going on. But Delphante still just about holding on to second place and thus still holding on to the championship. Aidan Walsingham looking very, very racy, and he does find himself in a position where if Jardier decides to slow to try and hold him back, then he's going to be in big trouble. He'll end up finding himself almost battling against two cars at once. It is exactly what he doesn't want to happen. He doesn't want Jardier to slow up, back him up a little bit into Aidan, because Aidan will not hesitate to strike and go for position. Looking incredibly quick. We're going to quickly jump back a little bit further. So this is Thomas versus Nashkadashvili. This is the battle for 6th place. It still rages on. Back up to the front again. Jards starting to pull away. Delphante does appear to be that little bit quicker at the moment, but now Aidan's starting to close up on him. Does look to the inside. Can't quite get it done. Going to get a better exit though here, I think. Who's going to get the best run? Still, Delphante managing to hold on to it, and Joe McLaren must be rubbing his hands together and thinking, come on lads, squabble it out, let me catch you up, let me try and get involved in this as well. Aidan not quite able to get the overlap here. I think realistically the Honda of Delphante is quite similar really to that McLaren, and it is just meaning there's no obvious time where you can really throw the car up the inside knowing that you can outbrake your opponent. As they all season long, these two have been absolutely at it. Like a pair of vicious badgers, been nibbling away at each other, snarling and scratching. So with 16 minutes on the clock left to go, for now, Delphante is just about holding on to the position. It is very, very close. And I think both these drivers are probably gone beyond 11 tenths, and they're now pretty much on 12 tenths, I think. They're giving it absolutely everything. Here comes Aidan, though. It's a good run. He's going to be up the inside. Here it is, under braking. Delphante does give him room. He's going to have a better exit if they do get together that little tiny bit. Who is going to be best? Delphante still just a whisker in front at the moment, but he's going to be on the outside here. He wants to try and get far enough ahead to close the door. He's not going to be able to do it. He does squeeze Aiden just towards the apex. And they're still side by side. And there's a little bit of an unsettled moment there for Aiden Walsingham. So now Delphante still has the ability to get in, and he does go through. If he can get his car in the right position, he should be able to hold off Walsingham. He's just got to try and cover off the apexes and slow where Aiden's trying to go quickly, and he does. That was a staunch defense there from Delphante. Really well done, the two of them. I mean, such close racing, but such clean racing between them as well. I feel like we've had this battle on screen for quite a while, but this definitely is the one to keep an eye on. This is the championship decider of battles. Meanwhile, Jardier has absolutely checked out from this race. 2.1 seconds, massive lead. Right, he's in the tow again. Oh, car number 44 we just saw with the yellow flag. A couple of cars with yellow flags, actually, and 369. Going to keep an eye on this battle, though, because now, again, Aiden looks to the inside. Little bit of a rub between the two of them, but he's now finally got in front. Delphante immediately dives into the slip. Bit of a flash of the lights. He obviously isn't happy with that and doesn't feel like that was maybe as good as it could have been. The two of them looking very, very racy now, though. Delphante looking very, very fighty. He wants to get through. Aiden now trying to make his McLaren the widest McLaren that has ever existed. Definitely seems to be a little bit of a difference between these two drivers. It does seem that Delphante just has that slightly more aggressive style when it comes to attacking. But he's going to have to be careful that he doesn't overwork the tyres while he's immediately trying to gain the position back. He might be better off just holding with him, waiting for maybe a slight mistake from Aiden. We've obviously seen lap 1 there was an incident, and we saw him drop back again. So it is possible that there might be a little bit of a mistake there. But at the moment, Aiden has now taken the championship away from Delphante, and Aiden Walsingham is holding up the fastest lap of the race as well. It's really going to be who can go faster and further towards the end. 13 minutes of the race left to go. This is still the big battle to keep an eye on. 3 seconds away now, Jardier in pole position. But it has to be said, Delphante is looking very, very racy. He's right on the back of him. He should have a decent run here. He should have a decent run down towards Remus, and if he can do anything about it, Aiden already over towards the right-hand side of the circuit, just drifts back towards the middle a little bit. Delphante has not given up. He may have lost the position, but he is not giving up yet. The two of them absolutely squabbling it out. I can only imagine when Luke Whitehead didn't come back to try and defend his championship crown. I imagine Aiden probably thought, well, fantastic, job done. This is my season. And fair play to Delphante. He has absolutely kept Aiden honest the whole way through. He has done nothing but super hard, super clean racing. The pair of them. This is definitely the one to keep a little bit of an eye on. I know as soon as I move away, there's going to be a slight change, possibly. We will quickly flick back. We've got Novikov, who is running in 10th place, running in front of Kumpo, Niles, and then we've got Jonathan Clifford as well there in the back of the shot, and Humble. So, decent little group of cars here, all cruising along together. They're all fairly close when it comes to the corners, and they open up a little bit more, even further back again. We've got Benjamin King versus Delibra versus Buzov, and Vujanovic as well is not far off the back of him. That car, that Herberth Motorsport, is such a fantastic livery. We do have a lot of love for it. But now, Delibra looking around the outside down towards turn 1. Can he do anything here? Might be able to get the switch back. Not sure, not quite. They're side by side. Matt York with a 20-second penalty there. I think that might have been the one from earlier. I'm not entirely sure, but there's a 20-second penalty looming over him at the moment. So nearly 3 wide. This is all the way back. This is the battle for 19th place. Sorry, 18th place. Delubra now does get in front. Uzov looking to take advantage as well. But now, through comes Benjamin King again in the 992 and just about holds it out. These cars giving it absolutely everything. Quickly jumping back on board with our championship deciding battle. Looking at their previous laps between them, they were identical laps last time round. Both of them doing exactly 1 minute 28 seconds, 0.067. They were absolutely identical. Oh, Novikov, who we saw battling out in 10th place, now finds himself with the drive-through penalty for track limit infringements. You can see just disappearing off into the distance, pretty much sunglasses on and already getting ready to pull a pint. Jardier in first place with a whopping 3.8 second lead. Delfante, a little under 10 minutes left to go, appears to be trying to reignite the fire and seeing what he can do, trying to push forward that a little bit more, trying to apply the pressure. 1 point between these drivers. Whatever position, whatever order they finish on the circuit decides who wins the championship. It is down to this. It is not just for the second place on the podium. It is for first place in the championship. And at the moment, Aidan Walsingham, with 9 minutes left of the race to go, is just about leading the championship. So we'll have a little look, see how they do as they come through turn 1. And immediately Aidan having to go slightly defensive. I'm going to jump on board the Honda and get an idea of just how close it's going to be. Delfante looks to the outside. He's got to go the long way round, trying to get a switchback. Can't quite do it. But you can see that 99% of his view is just all McLaren. You can barely see anything past the car. He's trying to stay in behind it to get the tow. Aidan going defensive now. Delfante goes to the outside, and we should see... Oh, they get together. That was a definite rub. Definite rub between them. And Delfante looking decidedly frustrated now. He obviously feels he has the pace to get through, just hasn't been able to. And there was a decent old rub between them. I think a lot of it's just kind of been just good, hard racing, but it has been what can only be described as a real slugging match between them. You see immediately Aidan trying to break the toe. He moves across, seeing what he can do. As again, it doesn't really matter what position on the grid they finish. They can finish fairly far down, as long as they do finish. It should still give them pretty decent championship points. So for anyone joining us now in the last 7 minutes of the race, to get an idea, championship points, Eric Delfante is leading by 1 point over Aidan Walsingham. And then Valentine Barry a little bit further back in third, and then Jardier in fourth in the championship. But as it stands on track at the moment, Jardier is in the lead, Aidan Walsingham second, Delfante third. And that means Aidan Walsingham will take the championship honours as it stands at the moment. But Delfante is absolutely giving it everything. Pair of them looking very, very racy. Just about 6 minutes of the race left to go. Joe McLaren still running in fourth place. Fair effort for that driver as well. Done a really good job of keeping it up into fourth place. Some big names behind him. This is the one we're sort of really sticking with. I think most people at home are probably cheering on one of these two drivers. They have been absolutely at it for ages now. So looking over the rear wing now of the Veloce number 13 car, driven by Aidan Walsingham, currently running in 13th place. And he seemed to get a much, much better exit this time. Big spit of flames there as they go in. Almost sounded like he's short shifting, or at least keeping the gears much, much higher than I thought he would. Obviously in an attempt to try and stop the back of that car lighting up. Just over 5 minutes left of the race now, and I think this might be the moment where Aidan just starts to maybe open up the taps, try and do something, or is this just a case of Del Fante biding his time, letting the tyre temperature come down that little bit? He's been pushing very, very hard to stay on the back of Walsingham and try and attack. Walsingham's tyres are a little bit older than Del Fante's, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been very close between them. I think it was only a lap or so between them. But that gap has definitely opened up now. Over half a second between them, so what was absolutely minuscule has now opened up significantly. From what was looking like there could be any change of position at any moment is now starting to look a little bit more certain for Aidan Walsingham. A little bit further back, we've still got Znottins versus Hanowitz versus Michael Thomas. All looking mighty, mighty close at the moment. Oh, bit of a move there to the inside there we saw from Hanowitz. Trying to make a move on Znottins. That was always going to be something pretty brave and big to make it work. 3.5 minutes left to go. So currently Jardier absolutely flying away with this race win. It has been a mega race for him. Qualified on pole, and pretty much the entire way through, bar the pit stops, has held on to it. Then Aidan Walsingham running in second place in the car number 13. Being chased down by Del Fante. Del Fante flashing the lights. Don't think that's going to unsettle someone as well driven as Aidan Walsingham, though. It's going to have to be something pretty brave. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up with him. I just don't think he's quite able to. Although Aidan Walsingham is down on this lap time quite a bit already, and Eric Del Fante is up on this lap time. So maybe it will. Maybe this will come back. Maybe this will be an absolute push right at the end. Aidan Walsingham, for some reason, is losing time according to the timing screen, and losing it absolutely hand over fist. So not sure what's happening there. Whether this is maybe a fueling issue or something, I'm not entirely sure. Or that for some reason they're pestuously sort of trying to create their own drama. I don't entirely know. But from what was suddenly looking like a Walsingham walkaway is now not looking like a Walsingham walkaway. And in fact, he is really starting to lose time. 2 minutes left on the clock. Still, this battle rages on. There's a few cars out there now that look like they're losing a bit of time. Jardier losing time. Walsingham losing time. McLaren losing time. Nashkadashvili, Thomas, Kevin Niles. Suddenly a whole bunch of drivers all losing time. And Eric Del Fante is not one of those drivers. Again, big flash of the lights. But what's happened there? But a few drivers who are completely on their own, losing nearly half a second over the space of the last lap. So not sure what's on there. Aidan Walsingham again losing more and more time. 1 minute 15 left to go. This should essentially be the final lap, and they're side by side again. Now Del Fante really starting to bring the fight back. He's going to have the overlap, I think. He might have just about got down the inside. No, he hasn't. I was seeing people in the chat saying about temp drops, but I feel like it's been a slow and steady temp drop. It's not like it's suddenly dropped away. Eric Defante looks to the outside. He's going to try and hold on to it all the way round. He's not quite able to do so. Jardier might just be able to finish this lap and make everyone go one more. Aidan Walsingham is way, way down on his time, though. What on earth is going on with people's lap times? I have no idea. Everybody's tumbling. I mean, well, Delphante can't go any quicker. He's struggling to get past Aidan. Possibility of 2 corners left to go. Jards is still pushing forward. We might just eke another one out of this, depending on what Jardier does as he comes across the line. We are going to go for one more lap. Say it with me, everybody. One more lap. Cheering them on. One last chance. Delphante is going to throw everything, absolutely everything into this lap. Aidan Walsingham is going to have to put up the best defense of his life, I think. He's managed to find the pace out of somewhere. I'm not entirely sure what happened a few laps ago where suddenly a bunch of people started to lose a load of pace. Whether, again, it was temperature. Whether it was maybe the tyres just that little bit more degraded. Now, you can see Delphante, big flash of the lights. He goes to the outside. There's a bump between the two of them. Who's going to get the better exit here? It looks like it's going to be Delphante. He is close up behind. Again, flashing the lights. I think these guys are fairly good with each other. But yes, again, Delphante looks to the outside. Little bit of a rub. He's applying pressure. He's going to try and go all the way around, side by side. Final lap. They're still overlapping. And they just about manages to close the nose off. Aidan Walsingham doing absolutely everything he can to try and hold back Delphante. Delphante looking like an absolute tsunami at the moment. Like a huge flood of racing power trying to come through and get past Walsingham. Walsingham just doing everything he can to keep Delphante at bay. There was a little moment where we thought that maybe Aidan would get away, but it is not happening. This is it. This is the final run to the line. Jardier comes across the line in first, and Walsingham comes across the line in second, very closely followed by Delphante. And that means that Aidan Walsingham is Season 16 champion. That was an absolutely mega race. Delphante must be a mixture of furious and elated, obviously coming home. Third place on the track, and it'll be second place in the championship. Jards, I think we might see some victory donuts here, possibly. We're going to stick with our championship leader, though. That was absolutely mega. And there they go. Quick spin round for everyone. I think we're going to possibly see some donuts here. Yes, there we are. So we will go through the finishing order in a minute. But for now, we are going to stay with our championship winner, Mr. Aidan Walsingham. It has been a long time coming for this young man. It's to be said as well, though, obviously huge shout out to Delphante, who has parked the car up. I think probably feeling a little bit disappointed in that in the end. It was very, very close, and there was some rubbing and going. I mean, I don't imagine there's going to be too much post-race, I would hope, but you never know. Oh, Aidan tries to do a bit of a drift. Not quite able to there. Well, he may have even broken the car. There we go. Back to the pits. Oh, goodness gracious. That was what can only be described as an absolutely bonkers final round of the season here. Apex Online Racing. That was Season 16 of the GT3 Sprint Cup Series. We finished here at the Red Bull Ring. Aidan Walsingham brings home the championship. It has been an absolutely amazing season for him. I mean, it did mostly just look like hard racing. It's just a case of who knows what will happen post-race. Who knows what will happen. Right, let's have a quick look and see if we can have a bit of a look through the final order as they came across the line. Right, race results as it was. Jardier in first place, Walsingham second, Delphante third, McLaren fourth, Valentine Barrier 5th, Nash Philly 6th, Thomas 7th, Znotins 8th. Oh, and everyone's leaving the server and making my life completely harder. Absolutely fantastic. So, might have to wait a minute for that one. But as a bunch of people have left. But the main ones to look for there, the big ones, is Jardier, Walsingham, Delfante, and that means that Aiden wins the championship. Right, hopefully we are going to be able to get Aiden across into it with us now. Let's shoot across to a slightly nicer looking screen, and we should hopefully be able to get Aiden Walsingham, in with us. Let's see if it works. Aiden Walsingham, are you there, sir?
Hello, I'm here.
Fantastic. Discord has finally come to life and working. Mate, what a championship you and Eric have put together for us this season. I think the closest championship we have seen in so long, and to take it down to what? The final quarter of the final race of the season.
Yeah, that was like incredible season from Eric. Like he's driven so fantastically. It's literally just we had that both of us had one race where we ended up losing a lot of positions, and then because of that, it just came down to this. And yeah, I'm a little bit lost for words that this has actually potentially happened. But yeah, no, it was fantastic fighting with him the last few races.
Now you're
It's been
saying
a really great challenge.
you just said potentially happened. Is there anything weighing on your mind? Because it looked from where we were, it looked like you and Delfante just had some pretty elbows out, but fair racing between the two of you. Are you slightly worried here? Because I'm not sure why you would be worried, but we need to know. Everyone at home now needs to know.
Man, I do not celebrate too soon. I do not jump the gun. I will wait until someone pings me in Discord until I start celebrating.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I'm sure someone
Yeah.
will be firing it your way at some point. I'm sure it will do. I mean, obviously, this. I mean, you must have thought to yourself when Luke didn't come back for this season. You must have thought, breeze. This is gonna be a breeze. I'm gonna absolutely wing it this year. I mean, this season. This is mine. To then have to go toe to toe with Delfante. Were you a bit shocked, or as soon as you saw his name in the leaderboards, did you think, oh, hang on, this is on?
Now we always have a look at the signups, and like within the team we just like point out, oh yeah, this guy's doing AOR. We should do AOR too, it'd be good competition, and it's good to race against each other as well. Like it's good to talk about Eric. Eric's done a fantastic job, but also like Vale and Jard have both been equally really fast in their own rights. They've done really well. Jard was a missile today. Vale very close to Eric's pace, just lost a little something on the tires at the start, and obviously the penalty, but you know he was up there as well, and it wasn't just between me and Eric. I know it felt like it, perhaps from commentators and spectators' perspective, but Vale was only 2 positions away from taking it.
Yeah,
Only 20 points or something.
it was very close. And actually, if we look at the championship, obviously Jardier coming into this race was 66 points behind Delfante, but he didn't do the first race of the season, so he could have quite easily
Yeah.
picked up those points. So yeah, as you do say, like when you sort of like zoom out a little bit and look at the bigger picture, you realise just how close it was. It's been the closest season in AOR that we've had for a long time. But the main thing is that as you cross the line, you were season 16 Apex Online Racing champion. And that I think is it's just fantastic. I mean, like you said, bit lost for words at the moment, but yeah, as you cross the line, as of now, as we are sitting in this moment, you are season 16 champion.
I mean, it might have taken 12, 13 years of sim racing, but I finally won a championship, Mum.
Is that it? You're going to get a pat on the
No,
back now?
she might call me this weekend.
Ah.
No, I'm joking. It was a better relationship than that, but
Okay.
no. Much better than that.
She might just not call you a nerd for doing sim racing, but you know it's fine.
Yeah,
We all get called it. I'm continuously called a nerd by my wife all the time for doing this. Even worse than racing, I just yell at people doing racing. That's it. So it's I have even I have even less of a thing to stand on. I have no talents other than being able to blabber continuously for long periods of time. Aiden, it's been amazing chatting with you. Again, massive congratulations on the second place this evening and a huge congratulations on winning the championship. I have got to get Delfante and Jardier in as well for a bit of a chinwag as well. So I'm gonna have to call it a night with you for a minute and I'm gonna have to drag those guys in, all right?
Of course. All the best. Thank you very much.
No worries, Aiden. We'll no doubt see you next season. Back to defend your title, hopefully.
Of course. We'll see you then.
See you later.
Cheers.
Cheers. So that was Aiden, the championship winner. We are now going to quickly get Jodier, our first place finish this evening, into the booth. Jards, can you hear me? Oh, he's got me on mute. There he is. There he is. Goodness gracious, Jards. What on earth were you fueling that Aston Martin on this evening? It was an absolute rocket ship.
Yeah. I mean, I did the other championship last Thursday, so I had a really good setup prepared for today. So I knew I'm gonna be really, really strong, you know. So it was Aston was really fast, definitely really fast.
I mean, I was wondering at one point if you were going to sort of play the team game a little bit and try and slow down Delphante when he was running behind you. But it has to be said, no, you just went for it and let them two squabble it out on their own. I mean, and they did do a good job of squabbling. But yeah, I was really surprised that you just absolutely booked out towards the end of the race. I think it was over 3 seconds lead you had towards the end of the race, and I can only imagine you pretty much just, already had a beer on the go and just one arm out the window cruising across the line. You didn't need to rush at all.
Yeah, to be fair, I was watching the fight behind me literally the whole half a race, you know. I was even deciding if I should slow down to watch a little bit from closer because I really wanted to see what's going on there. But no, I even said on a voice chat to Aiden at the beginning of the race that I'm not gonna like interfere their fight at all. I'm just gonna try to win like my own race, but I'm not gonna interfere at all. You know, I didn't want to help either, like to do some drama or stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
just today, just to let them race basically, and then see what's gonna happen. But I definitely like wanted to fight both of them. Like I didn't want to like let them go and let them fight. You know, I just wanted to I wanted to beat them both. So that was tough. Yeah, it was good fighting. I was watching their fight all the time. It was really good and quite clean actually for P1 in the championship. I was really surprised. I was expecting a little bit some dirtiness or like a little bit more risky or something, but it was, as far as I saw, it was pretty clean. Good racing.
There is definitely some traded paint. There was definitely some elbows out, but it was fair elbows out. It was all fine, just a little bit of rubbing is racing. I mean, and you got involved in that battle as well at one point when you exited the pits. Suddenly, you had Delphante was overlapping you, and at one point he was ahead of you for a little while. I mean, I don't think we really expected that because you came into the pits well in front of them, like you had a decent old gap, and then it seemed. Did you lose a little bit of time in the pits there?
No, it's like on this track specifically, Aston Martin loses like 7-8 tenths on any other car because the car is just so slow on a pit exit. So like you always have to count with that. But I was a little bit careful, on a pit entry. But I was quite surprised. I was like expecting to be like at least ahead, but I didn't expect to lose the position to Delphante in the pits. When he was pit, I was 1.4 seconds ahead, and my in lap was absolutely fantastic as well. So yeah, I didn't expect that, but luckily the pace was good, and I could get the position back.
Yeah, I think so. The Aston looked very, very comfortable in your hands this evening. It seemed to just be everywhere it needed to be, and even managing to stop on all the curbs and eat up the sausage curbs as much as it needed to. It has been, it's been a fantastic race to watch. I've got Delphante waiting in the wings as well. I've got to get him in. He's been waiting for ages, the poor chap. But yeah, Jards, thank you ever so much for coming in and having a chat with us. Hopefully we see you again next season. If not, you're always doing racing, so we can always jump in and watch you race somewhere. All the time.
Well, thank you. I hope that the new season will be soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure when it is. They never announce. Even I don't know. Everyone thinks that I know in advance and I get DMs. I don't know until everyone else does. I maybe know 24 hours in advance just because I get sent the calendar and I kind of just have to go, yeah, I think I'm around. It did clash this time. That's why I missed last race. I will say I clashed. I had a holiday. But yeah, Jards, thank you ever so much for joining us, mate. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Cheers. See you next season. Bye.
See you.
Eric Delphante, it was the season that almost was, but sadly on the final quarter of the final race, it was taken away from you. It seemed super close the whole way through, and you put up such a good fight. You and Aiden, the whole race, it was amazing to watch from my perspective, and hopefully for yourself as well. I mean, just talk us through it. Talk us through that final race.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm happy. I think I drove perfect in all championships, so I'm really happy with me. But I missed the win of the champions by a little. But overall, I think I drove very, very well in all the races.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it now, that is your 5th time on the podium this evening. Obviously, coming home in 3rd in the end. I mean, but the battle itself, I mean, you could not tell who was going to come across the line in front of each other. It was just you and Aiden were just so close. Obviously, early in the race as well. Obviously, Aiden dropped back a little bit, and I imagine that was probably almost a bit of a breath of relief, really, that suddenly Aiden had dropped back a fair few positions. But yeah, he's just sort of managed to claw it back, and then yeah, sadly for you, just towards the end, that there was a position change. We did see a big lot of flashing lights for quite a bit of the end of that race. Was there a little bit of disagreement in the move that was made by Aiden, or were you just sort of happy that a bit of rubbing is racing and it was just hard elbows out stuff from the pair of you?
Yeah, I know that it was faster, so I try my best, and I think in the overtake he pushed me wide, so for that reason and also for some defensive moves, I didn't agree.
Well, I mean,
But overall it was good racing. I had a lot of fun, but yeah, I think a little bit too much from him in some occasions.
little bit too rough from time to time, possibly then. But I mean, are you going to come back next season and show them how it's done and dominate again? Because I mean, you really did dominate a lot of this season. I'm so sad that I missed the Laguna Seca race, because apparently it was absolutely savage between the pair of you again. So yeah, I'm really gutted that I didn't get to see that one. But yeah, I mean, I hope you come back and you can sort of try and take the crown next time round, because Aiden, I think, will definitely be sweating, I think, next time round, because he knows how close it was this time.
Yeah, we will see. I try my best to be here for the next season, but at the moment I don't know.
Okay, well, come on. You just everything you can do, Just try and squeeze it in. We love you here. There's a lot of people in the chat with a lot of love for you as well. I mean, at the beginning of this race, we had a poll going, and out of everybody, I think it was 47% thought you were going to win the championship, and 47% thought it was going to be Aiden that won. So it really couldn't have been sort of, a better split of supporters for the pair of you coming into this race. It really has been. It's been you two racing for the championship, and then everyone else has just kind of been on circuit just while we watch them a little bit as well. But yeah, it's, if you wanted an outside view of it, do go back and watch the stream, because you guys were on it an incredibly large amount, because you just kept entertaining us the whole way through. Say massive congratulations on 3rd place this evening, and obviously huge congratulations on coming 2nd in the championship. It is no easy feat at all.
Thank you so much, guys.
No worries.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much, mate, and yourself. And then we can all enjoy the off season for a little while, and then we'll all come back at some point, hopefully, and squabble it out again. I will be DMing you to make sure you come back next season. I will be pestering you. So it'd be lovely to have you, mate. Thank you ever so much for joining us in the booth.
Thank you.
Right, and that is it for Season 16 of Apex Online Racing GT3 Sprint Series, brought to you by Driver61 and our lovely patrons. Details of all those sponsors in the description below this stream, and they'll be there for the VOD as well. If you want to be one of the patrons, then do feel free to sign up, see how it all goes, see what you like. You get to go in behind the scenes, and you get to be involved in voting for circuits as well. So you can either A, make it so you've got a nice circuit, or B, you could punish people because you don't want to race on that track. We did Snetterton this season. That was voted by the patrons. Madmen. So there we go. Thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been an absolutely fantastic season. Join us again tomorrow, though, for the Tier 2 season final as well. It will still be hot, close racing. And I think I need to go and have a drink now, because I've been yelling at Motorsport for Over 2 hours. Right, thank you ever so much, guys, and we will see you all next week.